Did the New York Knicks try to pull off a trade for Moussa Diabate? Rumors are swirling around the New York Knicks trying to add a center, and we're going to break it all down on today's show. As you're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports, we are presented by Prize Picks, and my name is Marshall Green. Use that promo code HMA on Prize Picks. Play $5, get $50 instantly. We heard late last week that the New York Knicks tried to pull off a trade for Yves Missi, and it was rejected per Chris Haynes. Now reports are coming out that the New York Knicks have been monitoring the Charlotte Hornets big man, Moussa Diabate, the 6'10", 24-year-old out of Michigan. This is a player that a lot of Knicks fans have been clamoring for this organization to go and trade for, and it sounds like the Knicks have at least checked in. Mark Stein and Jake Fisher, in their co-Substack, if you will, wrote, New York expressed interest in veteran center Kevon Looney while also monitoring Charlotte's high-energy Moussa Diabate. Yet the Knicks ultimately landed on Drummond, who ironically chose the Lakers over the Knicks late in the 2020-21 season after being bought out by the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it at least sounds like the New York Knicks have kicked the tires on Diabate. I think the wording of what Fisher and Stein wrote there kind of paint the picture that they got told no for Diabate, and then they elected to go and sign Drummond. Does that mean that the Diabate trade idea is dead? I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I think the New York Knicks understand now that the asking price for Diabate might be a little bit richer than what they initially wanted to give up, and rightfully so. This is a player that I think a lot of Knicks fans thought that they could just go throw a pick at Charlotte and they would get Diabate, and that's just not really the case. Like, Moussa Diabate kind of exploded onto the scene last year, gave you 8 points per game, almost 9 rebounds, a block as well. Young, athletic, rim running, defensive difference maker, and a guy that showed that he was one of the better offensive rebounding players in the National Basketball Association. You look at the offensive rebound numbers, Moussa Diabate in blue, Mitchell Robinson in that damn ugly green color, and they're right by each other. Like, the last 2 years, Mitchell Robinson has ever so slightly been a better offensive rebounder than Diabate. And it makes sense why the Knicks were interested in him. He's like Mitchell Robinson light. He's not as big, not as strong, but can protect the rim, can be a roller, can be a lob catcher, and can be someone that generates extra possessions for you on the offensive end. And he's also a player that completely swung the game for Charlotte when he was in the game. The Charlotte Hornets had a net rating of plus 9.7 when he was on the court. They had a net rating of minus 0.4 when he was off the court. He has a plus 10.1 on-off net rating, a plus 9 on-off offensive rating, and a minus 1.1. You want it to be minus in defensive rating. So the Hornets were drastically better on offense when he played, and they were better on defense when he played. And he dominated the glass as well, and he was a part of a 5-man lineup that for like the second half of the season was the most dominant in the NBA. Like, the Hornets aren't just going to give him away. And I think that was kind of the expectations from a lot of Knicks fans out there. And I appreciate the New York Knicks calling, and maybe they thought that they could buy low on Diabate. I think they quickly learned that Charlotte values him and maybe sees him as a long-term piece. I know that they drafted Kalkbrenner a year ago, and they drafted another center in the first round this year. Maybe they're just loading up on big men. I don't know. If they want to trade Kalkbrenner, then absolutely go get that done as well. But you're going to have to give up something of value if you want to go add Moussa Diabate. And the Knicks have a couple of different trade packages they can go to. The thing that makes it all possible is he's only making $2.46 million this upcoming year, which means the Knicks would have to send $1 more than what Moussa Diabate would be making. We'll talk more about this coming up here momentarily. Do have to let you know that our sponsor of today's show, GLD, who hooked me up with this awesome New York Knicks chain, has some sweet deals going on right now. When you go to GLD.com and you use that promo code ChatSports, you can get 40% off your order today. They have multiple New York Knicks chains and New York Knicks pendants on their site. They have some champion stuff. They've got the one I got. We'll show that momentarily. And what I love about GLD is it isn't just hype, man. GLD has over 2 million customers, more than 50,000 five-star reviews, and is worn by the biggest in the game, like Justin Bieber, Malik Neighbors, Micah Parsons, A$AP Rocky, and plenty more. Shout out to them for hooking me up with this sweet pendant. I wore it all playoffs long. It's good stuff right here. It's quality that is built to last. Every single stone is meticulously hand set. GLD makes the kind of pieces that become part of your everyday lineup. Once you add a GLD to your rotation, it's game over. And it isn't cheap stuff. Only uses real gold. Every stone is meticulously hand set, and the quality is on a completely different level. You could see it immediately, and you definitely could feel it when you throw that chain on to finish your fit. Level up your lineup with GLD for a limited time only. New customers are getting an insane deal. Use code ChatSports to get 40% off at GLD.com. That's 40% off with code ChatSports at GLD.com. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, they sent you. Diabate, I think that well is not officially shut off. Maybe it could be an in-season trade. Maybe the New York Knicks come back with an upped offer. I'd be curious to know if they did submit an official offer and what that offer would officially be. With him making less than $2.5 million, that means that you either had to offer Pacome Dadier and a handful of picks or maybe Miles McBride. I don't know if they offered McBride straight up. I don't know if they attached assets to Miles McBride, but I do believe that he is the best trade asset you have right now. And if you were trading in the NBA, isn't always Leon Rose going to rip off the Portland Trailblazers or the Toronto Raptors or all the places that he's ripped off. But to get something that's good, you usually have to give up something that's good. And with the New York Knicks having limited draft capital that they could trade, only one unprotected first-round pick, 2 pick swaps, they do have a dozen second-round picks, which can be definitely added on as sweetener. You're going to have to give up something. And one trade that I think could potentially get it done for Diabate, which I think would be a heartbreaker for a lot of Knicks fans, is Miles McBride and 2 second-round picks going to Charlotte, but the New York Knicks acquiring Diabate. Would you do this trade? Would you trade Deuce and some seconds for Diabate? Type A for accept. Type D for decline. Sound off for me in the comment section. I wouldn't even be shocked if Charlotte called back and said, we need that first-round pick. Big men like Diabate don't grow on trees. I think if you are thinking about Miles McBride, you have to ask the question, what's the plan here? What is the plan for Miles McBride? Is he going to be a long-term piece of the New York Knicks puzzle? We know that this is his last year under contract. This time, next season, he will be a free agent. And he is going to want a significant pay raise. He's on a very cheap deal right now. I thought Deuce was amazing in the regular season prior to the injury. He was averaging a career high. He was shooting the cover off the ball. The volume was high. The efficiency was high. And then he got hurt, and he never really was the same player. And that's tough. You have a major injury to your core, hernia, whatever the official label there was, and you try to come back on the fly, it's going to be tough. Missed a lot of shots in the finals, a lot of open shots as well. 4.2 three-pointers attempted per night, knocked down a 37.5% clip, had that big game against the Philadelphia 76ers. But the question is, what's next? Are the New York Knicks going to give him a contract extension? Have there been conversations about a contract extension? If the Knicks do not have an extension in their future plans for McBride, I think you have to look to trade him. Because if you don't, as Kevon Looney just signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, if you don't go out and extend Mitchell Robinson, if you don't go out and extend Miles McBride, you'll be in a similar situation that you were with Mitchell Robinson this year, which is you're probably going to lose him for nothing in free agency. And it is not a best practice of a basketball team that has limited ways to improve their team by letting some of their most important best players leave for nothing in NBA free agency. And maybe the New York Knicks look at this depth chart and they look at this roster and they go, well, we have Alvarado and Kolek. Those are our backup point guards. We still have Shamet, and we brought back Diawara. Alvarado, Shamet, Diawara, Drummond. It's 4 guys off the bench that are probably going to play a lot of minutes for you. Do they think that it is better to roster Miles McBride, or is it better to trade Miles McBride for a center and add more front court depth there? Who do you want here more long-term? Do you want Miles McBride here more long-term? Is he a piece that you feel like you have to have? I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just laying out situations. Or do you think a guy like Diabate is, who could be your backup center for years to come and could potentially be a guy that could play alongside Karl-Anthony Towns as well? I think I lean towards doing this deal, and it's for a lot of the reasons that we painted out. I mean, you just paid Alvarado. You just paid Shamet. You just paid Diawara. That's a 1, that's a 2, and that's a 3/4 hybrid. Those guys just got paid. They're going to be important parts of this team. They're going to be asked to play more as well. I don't even know if this gets it done, to be honest with you. I don't think Charlotte wants to deal Diabate. I think they like having the idea of Diabate, Kalkbrenner, and the rookie that they drafted this year as a rotation, and they probably think they could play Kalkbrenner and they could play Diabate at the same time. So it's sticky and it's tricky because the Knicks, I know that they love Miles McBride. I know Miles McBride loves being a New York Knick, but McBride is the best trade chip the New York Knicks have. And if they want to upgrade this backup center room, he might be the guy that they have to say goodbye to. We'll wrap up our thoughts coming up momentarily, but I have to tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. And when you download the app today, use that promo code HMA. You play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 in lineups instantly. If you like watching sports and you like making money, you are going to love Prize Picks. Get hooked up with them. Available in all 50 states. Multiple ways to play. Billions of dollars have been paid out. You could go ahead and pick winners. You could pick spreads. You could pick totals. Or you can go with their lineup feature where you select more or less on 2 to 6 players. Stat line. A lot of fun on Prize Picks. We had a lot of fun playing Prize Picks during the New York Knicks postseason. You can follow me over on Prize Picks at @MarshallGreen_. And with the World Cup going on, it's a great time to get hooked up with Prize Picks. Here's an example. We at Chat Sports picked Argentina to win against Egypt, and we came out greening out and got a win there. We turned $19 to $30. We should have live lineupped, and we would have made a lot more. But it is what it is. Shout out to Prize Picks. Use that promo code HMA. I also think if you do trade Miles McBride for Diabate or someone, you should re-sign Jordan Clarkson. Because if you have a bench of Alvarado, Shamet, Clarkson, Diawara, Drummond, and Diabate, check ball and let's play some hoops. Like, that's good enough off the bench to do what you just did this year, which is hoist the Lario B. And then Mohamed Diawara. I know he's 21 years old, but we saw the highs from him in the regular season. And I think he's going to play every single night. And I would be shocked if he is not a part of the playoff rotation. And it's going to be hard to play everybody. So there you go with that. We also have some news here from Ian Begley saying Jonas Valinciunas is on the Knicks' radar as a third center option if he becomes a free agent. July 8th is the deadline for that, for Denver to make a decision on his contract. If he is bought out, there is an expectation that he could be a player at the Knicks sign. I believe Leon Rose was once his agent before joining the New York Knicks as the head of basketball. Some other trade targets the New York Knicks could look at. Goga Bitadze, Clint Capella. We know they made an offer for Yves Missi and it got rejected. And then the 2 big men out of Charlotte. Overall, I think a trade is coming. And I don't know when it's coming. But it could be at the deadline. Maybe it could be a Jose Alvarado-like trade where you do just Andre Drummond is the guy that is the first big man off the bench to start the regular season. Maybe you have a two-way guy like a Trey Jamison come back, and he's your third center. And then at the trade deadline, you push some chips into the table, and you sacrifice one of those dozen second-round picks you have, and you try to find your Jose Alvarado in center form. I don't know. I trust this organization. I trust Leon Rose. But there needs to be, I think, a player at the center spot added that is better than Andre Drummond. I'm not sure he could play in a serious NBA playoff series. We'll see. We'll see. If anything does happen, we'll get you a video on this channel. Also, make sure you are following me over on social media at @MarshallGreen_.